Hi, it's Jnwynn with Scraptastic Yarns Podcast. I wanted to stop in here first and give you a little bit of pre-warning. I did some driving this morning, and about the first 6 minutes is of driving to the class that I went to. It's Bernina Sewing Center in Mifflinburg, Pennsylvania. But for those of you that get car sick, you might want to skip on over. I'll put the timestamp below where that ends. But the first part I started recording probably a little more than half the way starting coming down Livonia Mountain into that valley there. So you might want to skip that part. And then the second part of driving, I take you from the turn off of 104 into where Bernina's is, and tell you a little bit about some of the area around there. And that's about it. So you might want to skip a little bit, but I'll put the timestamp below for those of you that do get car sick. Thought I would take you with me down to my classroom. This is the road that leads to the classroom for the embroidery class that I'm going to. I always joke about that it's in the middle of a cornfield, and you're gonna see why. You come up this winding little road. You're in the middle of farm country. Going to Bernina's. And this is the church that the owners of Bernina helped build. They did a lot of the funding for it, and one of the family members is in construction, so they constructed this nice little area. As you can see, there are horse and buggies, and plenty of those. And they really haven't planted corn this year yet. I know that in the past they've kind of switched off and on between corn and soybeans, and I can't remember what else I've seen them plant out here. But as you can see, they're getting the fields already. Some of them have been planted, some of them just been plowed for late crops. And we have a running joke because all this land over here is owned by one family. And yes, that is where I go for my classes. He owns quite a bit of the land out here. He is half owners with the tractor company, he and his brother. You wouldn't think that they were millionaires, but they are. There's the little Amish school. And any time of the year, lots of times when classes are in, you can see them, the kids out there playing. That's a lot of fun, you know, especially when there's snow on the ground, because they build all these snowmen and women, and they put little scarves and hats on them, and it's really adorable during the winter to see that, to come around the corner and see that. Now, these are different members of some of the families. There are a couple of English that live out here, but for the most part, they're Amish Mennonite. As you can see, the homes are quite beautiful. And yeah, it's just gorgeous. And then here we come to Hoover's Bernina store. That's the store. This is one of the co-owners, Mom's house. And the house straight in front of us is her son's house. But yeah, it's in the middle of a cornfield. Beautiful though. See you later. Hi, it's Jim with Scraptastic Yarns again. Hope you enjoyed that little bit of a snippet. I enjoy my classes over at Hoover's, and they have expanded their building to where it's about 3 times the size it was. It's a beautiful place to be able to go for classes and lovely people. That's basically what I'm going to tell you. Today is Tuesday the 28th, and I have not got a whole lot of crocheting done. I will tell you, I've been continuing to work on the corner to corner, the Icelandic yarn. That is, still ongoing. I did finish 3 items, very small items, and they're just small washcloths. This one was done with the bean stitch, and no, yes, no, I don't know. They were both different stitches. For some reason, I think that was the bean stitch. I don't know. But I had fun with it. Those yarns were something that I had gotten at Hobby Lobby It's there. I love this cotton, and it is in the color pink, teal, and orange. You know, they really need to do a better thing with some of these names. I'm just saying, Hobby Lobby. I love your yarns, but seriously, let's get some good names. That is it for that part. I do have a couple of acquisitions, and let me first tell you about these two that came to me Monday. This one, there were 3 in a bag, so I do have 3 of this size. It's the Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo in camouflage, and it is 10 ounces, and there are 3 of those. The gal that brought it in, she was playing marbles, and when I came in, one of the ladies come over and said, "This bag of yarn is for you," and pointed me to it. And I looked at it and looked in, and I yelled back at her because she's part of the Baby Beanie Brigade. That's what we've nicknamed the people who make the hats for us, for the babies. Yelled at her, "Hey, this yarn isn't worked up." And she yells back, "Yeah, but that green stuff? I need you to make me a pair of knitted shorts for my son." So now I'm trying to find a pair of knitted shorts for her son. Pattern anyway. And the other one, there were 3 skeins of this in there, is the Red Heart Super Saver in the mulberry mix. There are 5 ounces, and there were 3 of those. Basically, someone had walked up to her husband. They do a lot of, her husband, when they go back to Florida, and they go back, they're snowbirds. They go back and they stay, and they come back about March, April, and they leave, go in December. But he loves going to garage sales. Then he turns around and takes them up to the flea market, State College, and sells them. But when he gets yarn, generally what he does is he hands it down to his wife. His wife has just learned to crochet. But someone handed him that bag this morning and just handed it to her, and she handed it, left it for me, so I'll do something with it. When I was at Hobby Lobby, when we were in North Carolina, we did go visit Hobby Lobby. Because that is payment my husband gives me. He doesn't complain. Whatever I buy there, for dealing with his family when we go, and Mom, their Alzheimer's and stuff, it's getting worse. So when someone else was there at the house taking care of her, we took off to go to Hobby Lobby because he has things he likes to look at too, and he's always looking for different things to make those little topographic maps and things that he makes. To get some cat eyes, I wanted to make the little amigurumi that Anna has been making, and I needed some cat eyes. I also saw while we were there, they've got all those lovely new things with the bookmarks, all that kind of stuff, but I did see these pins. And this one says Little Kitty, says Yarn Queen. Of course, this one says Let's Roll. Skein on girl, however you say it. I always say skein. And the pink one says Yarn Makes Me Happy. So, I always go the wrong way. So hopefully you can see those without the glare. I haven't taken them out of the package. And they had only one of these with the crochet hook. And I did snatch it up. They had quite a few of the knitting needles. And today, when I was at Hoover's, they have a real pretty fabric that has some yarn balls with knitting needles. And I had said to the gal, one of the owners was standing there, and she was talking with some of the customers who come in, and she is the person who buys the fabric there at Bernina. And I had said to her, you need to tell these fabric companies they really underrepresent crocheters. Let's see some stuff with crochet hooks in it. And she said, I'll tell the Benartex people that, and Moda that, and we'll see if we can get some crochet hooks in there. Do I think it'll go anywhere? No. But you never know. If they know there are people that are wanting it, they may start making it. When I was at Dollar Tree, I happened to see this cute little rose clip. And I know, Debbie of the Canadian Crocheter uses these as shawl holders. And it does come with the hair clip. But I am going to take the hair clip off. I'm not really interested in not the hair clip, the rubber band. I'm not really interested in that because I did want to use it basically for shawl pins when I'm out. And then, Dollar Tree had yarn. And I know I didn't tell you about, or maybe I did tell you, about ordering online when I was in North Carolina. When I am someplace else, I'm ordering online. You know how that little pop-up comes up and says, they want to use your location. Allow, don't allow. I always hit don't allow. I do that even at home. Don't allow. Made the first order. Had asked for it to ship it to my Mill Hall store. That's not the store they decided to ship it to. They were going to ship it to the one in North Carolina. That's around the corner from my mother-in-law. So, I called. Of course, you can't do anything on the weekends. From about Friday, 4 p.m. until the following Monday morning, couldn't do a darn thing about it. I did complain about that. As I said, if I call, there should be a supervisor that can cancel that order. But they couldn't do that. So I went ahead and I placed a second order, and I double checked, made sure that it was going to the Mill Hall store. And I got some of the unforgettable waves. And I did get a case of it in Prairie. I am going to make a blanket out of this. I really like working with this the very first time I found it. I really did enjoy working with it. So I did get 24 balls of that. And I believe it's 3.5 ounces. Let's see if I can get one turned around here to see. Yep, it's 3.5 ounces, 119 yards. So I did get a case of that. And picked it up the other day. So I was thrilled to death that it did come. And like I said, I don't have a whole lot of finished items today. I will tell you, some of you may have noticed that the ads have started playing on the videos. And I did make a decision to do that so that, someday in the future there might be enough money to pay for shipping costs for giveaways. I do have a giveaway that is going on right now. But you have to find the video. It might be one or two before this one. That's That's all the clue I'm going to give you. But you got to watch it all the way through to figure out what you got to do. Yeah, I'm sneaky like that sometimes. So, yeah, that's the main reason I decided to go ahead and monetize the channel, was so that it could help with, eventually, with the cost of mailing items. As you know, it is costly to send to other places. That is one thing that drives me nuts. I mean, like, to Canada. I'm sorry, I don't think it should cost that much. To get it from here to the Canadian border, close to it, is about $12. And I have, in the very first giveaway I had, shipped to someone who was in Canada. And the other $45 was all Canadian fees. It's kind of ridiculous that it costs that much for shipping just to Canada. So I can imagine, I've looked online, like, for to Australia, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And so, some of these giveaways I plan in the future will be worldwide. If it includes yarn, I doubt it will be worldwide, because it's kind of ridiculous to pay, $100 to ship $20 worth of yarn. Sorry, it's just ridiculous. I am looking at some of the other ways to lower that cost. My son and I have discussed something, and I may take him up on it, but I'm not positive. So we're just looking to see, what will work there. It'll cut some of those costs. And that is it for that portion. Of course, now we are into what in tarnation. Let's discuss that coffee of last week. Someone had made a comment about, I thought you were going to talk about that ferret poop coffee at first. Guess what? That is the coffee I was talking about. It's not really ferrets, it's civets, which is a cat in Asia. But I did find out some more information about that, and I was horrified at what I was reading about this coffee, that these cats are kept in wire cages so that they can collect the poo with the berries, seeds, beads, to make that coffee. And of course, kitties, if they're left in, any animal, if they're kept in crates like that, you get, the pads get cut up and sore, and so if you're drinking that coffee, shame on you. That's all I'm saying. All right, our very first story starts with resident baffled when intruder cleans home, takes nothing. A Massachusetts man, that's a hard word to say. Massachusetts, I'm going to quit trying to say that. Man said he arrived at his family's home to find someone had broken in and given the residents a deep cleaning without stealing anything. Nate Roman, 44, said he returned to his Marlborough home last week with his 5-year-old son, and the boy was the first to notice that the back door was open. It was terrifying to know someone was in your house, he had told WCVB-TV. The homeowner said he was shocked to go inside and discover nothing had been taken, but instead the house had been cleaned. You could smell the cleaning chemicals. I could tell something was wrong, so I started looking around the house, and I found that my son's bathrooms had been cleaned. Roman said every room had been cleaned except for the kitchen. Marlborough police say they are taking the investigation seriously, but they currently have no leads or suspects. Roman said a clue left behind, a toilet paper folded into origami roses, lead him to suspect a professional cleaning service had visited the wrong address. It was really the roses that really got me to thinking that some professional cleaner had accidentally stumbled into my house, Roman said. If I was going to judge the quality of the toilet paper rose, I would call this high quality. He added by saying he was wondering how much they charge for their service. He said that his son's room was exceptionally clean. So apparently they did a good job. He did say the reason that he thinks that they didn't do the kitchen is because that's where they keep their snakes, and perhaps that's when they realized they were in the wrong house. Because they're, maybe on their thing it says there's no pets. Okay, second one is sheep runs loose through streets, headbutts police officer. Police in Britain wrangled an escaped sheep found running loose on city streets, and a witness captured video of the animal headbutting an officer. The Lancaster Police Dog Unit said officers taking their first call of the day were summoned to the city center to round up a loose sheep running across the one-way road. British Transport Police Lancashire tweeted a video clip of the sheep head-butting a dog handler while evading capture. Police said the sheep was eventually captured and the dog handler was not hurt in the comedy moment. If you have a lost sheep, it's safely in our custody, and no sheep or dog handlers were hurt during the process. And it is funny. The video shows that the guy goes to grab the sheep, and the sheep headbutts him. It's a funny video. Big screen TV fished out of Houston storm drain. That one I find a little bizarre. However, when I watched the video, it did make sense. Officials in Houston are asking neighbors to check inside their storm drains after a big screen TV was found clogging one such drain in the city. A resident of the Greensbrook Place neighborhood said the TV had been in the storm drain for some time before it was removed by the Harris County Precinct 1 crew. Neighbors said the TV was the largest object they'd ever seen in a storm drain. I mean, clothes, backpack, bags, whatever. I've never seen anything as big as a TV in a storm drain. Resident Maureen Howard said. Witnesses said the TV appeared to be a 40-inch flat screen. The county commissioner urged residents to ensure their storm drains are free of large debris that could cause clogs during flooding incidents. Officials said they don't know whether the TV was intentionally dumped in the drain or if it could have ended up there accidentally from a post-Hurricane Harvey debris pile. The TV wasn't the only unusual object found recently from the storm drain. A fire crew in Colorado removed a drain cover to rescue 10 ducklings that had fell in to the storm drain in Littleton. Go fire department. Big screen TV. However, I will say this. Here, I had a really small TV, like this size TV, that I used, and it died finally. So, we were going to get rid of it, and we had to take it out to the landfill. They do take them, but it cost me $20, that little bitty TV. They charge anywhere from $20 to $50 for certain items. I think a large screen TV that size would have been $40 to dispose of. If it had been destroyed, damaged in the flood, hurricane flood. So, you might be seeing a lot more of that depending on how much they're charging. Just saying. Alligator found relaxing on inflatable gator pool toy. An alligator lounging on an inflatable gator in a rentals home pool. David Jacobs said he and his family were staying at an Airbnb in South Miami, and they first spotted an alligator taking an interest in their family dog Saturday. Jacobs said the family was able to keep the two animals separated, but an even stranger gator encounter was in store for Sunday, when they found the alligator lounging atop an inflatable alligator floating in the home's backyard. My daughter, who's 14, was like, "Dad, that's so meta." Jacobs told the Miami News Times. Jacobs said his wife contacted the Airbnb's owner, who called a wildlife trapper to relocate the reptile. He said, "We have gators in Georgia, but they're just in areas that are not as populated, like some swamp where no one lives. But in Florida, they're just in your neighborhoods." Yeah, they are. I find that one funny. That's like, I think there's going around a video. It's either a flamingo or a crane riding on top of the alligator. It's going around Facebook. It's kind of cute. Man recovering from surgery wakes up to a stranger cat cuddling him. Sometimes animals know what humans need better than we do. And in the case of one man recovering from surgery, that was some cuddles. Andrew Falloon, Member of Parliament for Rangitata in New Zealand, tweeted an adorable photo of his dad, who had recently come home from the hospital, snuggled up with the cat. Only Mr. Falloon Sr. doesn't own a cat. That's right. When the man awoke from the nap, he was met with a mystery feline cuddler cozied up by his neck. It seems the pawed stranger had wandered in through the door and decided the recovering patient could use some extra love. The man recovering from surgery woke up to a cat cuddling, only he doesn't own a cat. And there is the picture that was tweeted out. He's even holding his paw. Isn't that sweet? Andrew Falloon, he had tweeted out, "My dad is recovering from an operation. Mom went out and left the door slightly ajar. My parents do not have a cat." According to the younger Mr. Falloon's tweet, his mother left the door open, and the cat saw his chance to creep into the house. Mom arrived home and found them cuddled up together on the couch. She snapped the photo before waking Dad up. He was pretty surprised to find the cat curled up. Later, when he visited his mother, showed him the photo, which she gracefully shared with the internet. Of course, then people on Twitter got involved. Someone tweeted, "So sweet. That cat now owns your parents." Another one, "Dogs have owners, cats have staff." To Fallon's surprise, tweets exploded across the internet, which he said was never his intention. After Mum sent me the photo, I popped it up on Twitter, thinking it might make a few people smile, but I never expected it would go that far. When he went to bed on Sunday night New Zealand time, it had a couple of thousand views. When he woke up, it was in the millions. Now it's in the tens of millions. Someone else tweeted out, "You have the right to be comforted by a cat. If you do not have a cat, no one will be provided for you, mysteriously and out of the blue at no charge." Traveling therapy cat reporting for duty. Someone else tweeted, "That's how I ended up with my permanent lodger." "So who is this mystery cat?" Fallon wrote. "He's from somewhere in the neighborhood. It isn't the first time he's turned up to their house, but his first time he's jumped up on Dad. Apparently his name is Ziggy, and it's quite common for him to go wandering. After Dad woke up from his adventurous cat, they hung out a bit before wandering back out." Someone else tweeted, "Well, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but your dad is now the property of that cat." Someone else tweeted, "Your dad has been adopted. Both seem quite content. Perfect match." Someone else tweeted, "You never own a cat owns or claims you. Animals are very clever, and this animal realized your dad needed some love." The Parliament member said his parents haven't had a cat for a few years now, because ironically, up until now, my dad hasn't been really much of a cat person. But I guess he is now. With Ziggy hanging around, seems there is no need for a new pet. Ziggy seems to have adopted my dad, so I'm not sure if they'll get another cat. My parents are happy to have him visit every so often." Another tweet that came out was, "Cat went out and got a rescue human." Another tweet, "I love when they rescue the ones who have chronic illnesses or are recovering from surgery." All in all, both of the Falloons have been overwhelmed by the attention. It's nice to have Dad on the mend after his operation, but he's a bit blown away by all the coverage. I had to explain to him what Twitter was and how it's been seen by so many people. Someone else tweeted, "Cat, just knew your dad needed some love." And someone else tweeted, "They do now." Someone else had tweeted, "Well, update, my parents have a cat." Another one, "Our first kitty picked us up out at the shelter, ran right up to my husband and jumped into his arms." Another one, now this one's cute. "Well, look, it was just passing by, and there was an unattended lap." Someone else had tweeted, "So what's their cat's new name?" Someone else tweeted, "Maya, M-Y-A-H, make yourself at home." Someone else had tweeted, "Love how he's holding paws with the cat." That was a cute picture. This one I think is cute, this tweet. Cats are quite capable of making their own friends. Ours went and introduced himself to the neighbors years before we met them. Then someone else had tweeted out to the Falloon Prime Minister when he said, "Let me correct that for you. They did not have a cat. They do now." Someone else had tweeted, "Cats are mystical. They know. They know." That was kind of a cute story. That's how we got one of our cats. Back door was open. It was hotter than places. Cat came in, screaming at me. We just lost a cat previously. And she was very dry, very hoarse. It was a hot day. Didn't have any air conditioning in the house yet. And I had said, go ahead, there's water there, drink it. I don't care. Doors are open, come in, whatever. Cat came in. She decided she liked us. We became hers. And then, of course, she gifted us with 13 kittens. Thank you, Nika. Okay, folks, that's all for this one. I'll see you again soon. Everybody, remember, choose some kindness. It goes a long way. Bye.